In a recent webinar that I did, the biggest complaint people had with their IFAs or pension fund was a lack of growth. 61% of people who responded said that was their biggest concern. In second place, a long way down, was lack of trust, and also at 6% was lack of information / education. Okay, so clearly lack of growth is the biggest problem. Why does that remain? Why does even the Chancellor think that's a problem for pensions? Imagine if pensions grew more. Then there'd be less call on the public purse, there'd be less problems for the budget, for future deficits, the amount of spending we have to do to provide public services, because presumably people would have more capital to do things for themselves, not require state intervention so much. We might even be able to reduce who gets the full national state pension. Lower pension growth has become such a problem that even the Treasury talks about it. So why does it exist? Because sadly, most British private investors don't know why their pensions perform so poorly. And there are several reasons for that. One is regulatory. The regulator requires that you're not overexcited by what your pension might provide, and therefore the IFAs basically target 5% medium growth. High growth is 8%, and that's it. You might have a year where you get lucky. Some of you might comment, oh God, I did this much last year. I managed to get 9.9%. You got lucky in 1 year. Secondly, if you're British and you happen to be watching this, then it's because your fund manager tends to invest in your domestic market. And your domestic market, unfortunately for you, happens to be the UK, which doesn't grow as fast as, say, the US. Okay? And your IFA will try and talk you out of the US because, quite frankly, they don't know how to give you access to the market other than through some kind of fund where they don't get enough returns themselves in commissions and the like. It just doesn't make sense for them to sell you US funds. And they're afraid of the volatility. Well, actually, it's no worse given the returns that you get than were you to invest in the UK. So there's a lack of understanding amongst IFAs and fund managers as well about the US markets. Whilst they see the growth, they don't quite understand how to give access to it and generate that for you. They just stick to what they know. They were taught in the UK, they were educated in the UK, they sat the UK fund manager exams and all the rest of it. And so their focus is what they know. And that has meant that you've got low growth.